Good evening, I'm Zargonaut and welcome to the studio this evening. So, tonight, I'm going to adjust this camera a little bit. It's set in a glass. So, anyway, hopefully things are reasonably focused. So, I've got the power tools out. I was kind of getting a bit tired of trying to get into these spaces. So, power tools. So let's see what happens. Long time since I've done any carving with power tools. Helps if I switch the motor on. Try something a bit different. That is perhaps the wrong bit to do that with. It's a while, I've just spent some time also looking for the bits that I was expected, the motor bits, drill bits, the carving bits, I was expecting to find, and I can't. But there again, the studio's still in a bit of a untidy state, so never mind. Okay, that's not long enough, but that's fine. Excuse me if this sounds a bit like a dentist drill. One of the reasons for that is that's what I'm using. These are dentist drills. All these bits are. Now this does turn wood into sawdust really quickly. Now somewhere around I've got a more aggressive bit, which is what I was looking for. but we will stick with this. Actually, before I go any further, I shall just be off camera for a second. I just want to get something. What I want to do is get prepared. Because as I said, this will create dust. Sawdust, lots of it. So what I'm just preparing is a vacuum cleaner, because it will be all over me and I don't want to walk away from the tarpaulin I'm stood on at the end of this and put stuff all over the floor. So, whether it'd be better getting the bigger motor out is another matter, but I don't want to at this stage, so we are going with working with this micro motor, and we'll just see how it goes. Yeah, I think I should probably move that as well. So bear with me, because that will get covered in dust otherwise. So this is high-speed rotary carving. I am using a relatively high-speed bit here. I think this is running at about 160,000 RPM, I think, off the top of my head, something like that. Oops, that overheated the bit a bit. That was not a good idea. So hopefully you are, I was about to say, able to hear me over the sound of the motor, but I'm not talking while that was going on. Right, although this looks like a tiny bit, and it is running on a, what is it, about 2.5mm shaft, I think it is. It can still do quite a bit of damage to you if you're not careful. After all, these are dental bits. So you do still have to be careful. You can cut yourself with this as easily as you can cut yourself with one of the big sharp chisels. Hello Wolfie, you have returned. You have returned from? It was tonight when you went out to the gym, was it? Or the martial arts class? Oh, of course, yes, you had the test. So this was a college entrance exam, was it then? Well, I hope you've done well enough to, if that's what you want to do, then I hope you've done well enough to get there. I may be handling this a little bit warily because I feel it's going to be hot. Also looks a little short for some reason. Ah, he's spinning loose. And I'll switch to another bit now. Just a round carbide. We should get through wood quite quickly. This is one thing I don't particularly care for with high-speed carving like this, is you get sawdust all over the place. And when I say sawdust, I don't mean the sort of stuff that you get off of saws or shavings. I mean dust. You know what? I don't actually need to do that, because what I've just done is I've just outlined it. So as I've outlined it, I don't have too much problem. What I might as well do at this point is actually get a chisel out. Because I've got a great big stop cut, which I've just done. So I can do this, and this actually will create less dust. It may or may not do anything for the headache that I've got, but at least I've got one dirty great big stop cut. So I'm not going to easily break through. I probably should have got the big motor out as well, because took some of this stuff out with the big motor, especially if I use something like a rasp. It shifts it really quickly. last night I had a really sort of weird, also a surreal experience, especially for the UK. I know there'll be some countries where it's a normal occurrence, but last night I was still up at about 1 AM in the morning, and I went into the bedroom. I was looking out. I was looking. I didn't have the lights on, and it looked very much like someone was shining a searchlight, shall we say, big powerful light at our windows. And apart from sort of thinking, why on earth would somebody be doing that? Because I couldn't hear the police helicopter. It was why or how has somebody got into my back garden to do that? Because we have quite a large back garden and there's no houses around us. Snow and sun, yeah. You're right there. So when I looked out the window, I could see. It was almost like it was daylight. In fact, it was brighter than it often is at dusk, if you sort of know what I mean. And I could see every detail of the garden. It literally was bright enough to see normally. There is normally our back garden, there is no lights in our back garden, and the nearest houses aren't very near, so they don't put any light into the garden at all. And it's normally pitch black in there, you cannot see anything. Last night, 1 o'clock in the morning, I could see it literally like it was daylight. And it was a really weird thing, was that, because at 1 o'clock in the morning, that is not something you expect to be able to see. Now I know when you get nearer the poles and the Arctic Antarctic Circle, you've got the 24-hour daylight, and I'm sure it's the sort of thing that they see all the time. But for us here in the UK, it was really rather weird. As you say, Wolf, it was the snow. The garden was covered in snow. And obviously it was bouncing light pollution from just anywhere, and that was lighting up the garden. But I mean, what it was even doing was the sky looked vaguely blue. I was seeing a vaguely blue sky, which was also kind of unusual for 1 o'clock in the morning. Well, that certainly made doing that bit like that easy. So let's see if I can continue a little bit more. Now that side there is probably deep enough. Let's see if I can deepen this down a bit, but I need to swap bits again. Yeah, I wish I could find my bigger bit. It'd be great for hogging that out, getting rid of that stuff. What I'm going to have to do is use the shank on these is really relatively small, so it's not like I can go to extreme depths. I'm kind of putting them in too shallow. I should put them in into the drill end a lot deeper than that. Kind of just lamenting my inability to find the more aggressive tool because it's got a longer shank on it. Still, I guess we spent 2 hours almost yesterday doing that bit down there, and this bit so far has taken a lot less time. So, power tools for the win. Okay, you're being awkward. Right, let's take a look. So there's a jewel, and then there's that. So This feels a lot like glass engraving. Now the thing with high-speed tools like this is they are, well, I was about to say I'm using no effort. I'm using no force. Okay, I am using effort to keep this on track, but it's a bit like the proverbial hot knife through butter. So I only need to touch it to the wood for that bit of the wood to disappear. So it's very like I am sort of sculpting into something really soft. Better win. Well, I guess so. I do really kind of prefer using the hand chisels, but there are times when this stuff is just so much easier. really isn't something that you can stop and look at chat whilst you're doing, because if you do, you very easily choose through something that you wanted. So much sawdust. Right, I can always tidy that up with a chisel again afterwards. It might seem a little counterintuitive, but this is actually less stressful on the wood than carving with a chisel. So some things I can do with this that I wouldn't necessarily want to do with a chisel, and probably when I come to do the inside of the mouth, this will be an ideal tool for doing that. I am concentrating quite a bit on this. One reason why is that I'm potentially not talking very much, just because it takes like the pyrography and like a lot of other things actually, with a high-speed tool like this, a slight wrong move and you just drilled a big hole in the piece of wood. And so you tend to concentrate quite hard on what you're doing. You can't stick any of this stuff back on. It is now sawdust, literally. Have I mentioned I don't like this vice? If I haven't mentioned it, I probably should. I don't like this vice. What I should have operating here really is a dust extractor, sort of here or here. They would be really rather noisy. The dust extractor I've got, which sits behind, doesn't pull this off the work. It would just pull it out of the air. But unfortunately this stuff will get into the air, so I can only do so much of it at once. So one of the things I can do with that is if I switch this bit for the square one and leave call it where it's supposed to be. So this isn't like a normal chuck, it's what they call a collet chuck, so you have to have grips that match exactly the diameter of the tool that you're using. Bugger! That is not something you want to happen. Luckily, I'm probably going to, well, I am going to be shaving that top down a little bit, so it started vibrating very hard and has cut into the top of the frame there. Right, I've cut an outline all the way around there, so I should now be able to get in with the chisel. I'll see how much of this I can do. I'm probably going to stop soon. The reason being, it feels very much, I have a headache and it feels very much like I am developing a migraine headache. And bending over this actually won't help. I don't quite know why I'm using a flat for that when I can use a gouge. Not a V-gouge. We'll use the shallow. Laura Luna 75, hello, welcome to the studio this evening. How are you? I'm just digging some of this wood out. I've gone around the outside with the power tools and outlined this area, but sometimes it's easier to get the chisels out than it is to continue to use the power tools. And sometimes it's not. I'll go back to using the power tools. It takes less effort. Yeah, Pretzel's always here. And Ultimate Tiba, hello, good evening. Welcome to the studio this evening. How are you? I have said hello to Laura already, Wolfie. You obviously had the sound turned down listening to music. And unfortunately I've got a headache, Tiba, and it's threatening to develop into a migraine. The sound of this. If this sound reminds you of anything, and it reminds you of the dentist, I'm not surprised. I'm using a dental drill. That's what this is at the end. This is something that a dentist would use on your teeth. You're watching The Purge? Okay. Yeah, I hope it doesn't become a migraine as well, but I'm going to take some medication shortly, which hopefully will stop it, but Yeah, it's actually this isn't so bad. And vacuum cleaners are just loud. One of the if I got the my other tool out for this, it is a dentist drill, and it runs off air, and it sounds very like a dentist drill, being the fact that it is. In some ways, I'm kind of being a bit lazy here because using the chisels will probably shift this wood a lot quicker, but it takes more effort. And as I say, I've got this headache, which doesn't help. So less effort is good for the headache. But I am creating a lot of sawdust here. Yes, I did. Well, I did actually. Was it two steps from hell? Thank you. I didn't check out the They Will Destroy You, not at the time, but I did check out the 2 Steps from Hell, and yes, you're right. It is just the sort of music I would listen to. And thank you for pointing out. I will check the others at some point. So 2 Steps from Hell are now on my YouTube subscription list. I sort of don't mind either way, Wolfie. There are times when the instrumental is easier just to listen to. Although one type of singing that I love is Vox Humana. Now I don't actually know whether that's singing. It really is human voice, or it's instrument generated, but it's a beautiful sound that I love music from. It often gets used in games as well quite a bit for sort of, I was going to say some scenes which I now can't actually explain, but I was going to say that you've got a problem, Tiba, there now, you know, because trying to do a permit command on you will be quite difficult. Actually, even trying to add you to something like a what they call it list would be quite hard. A regulars list. Oh yeah, no, I gathered that, Wolfie. I shall have a look at it after the stream. Yeah, I'm going to play things on stream. Okay. Now let's get the vacuum cleaner on that and just get rid of all of that dust, and then we can see what we've got there. So actually I'm going to mute the mic just to stop the vacuum cleaning noises. Okay. So I started to cut down into the background around the Gibberer. That's what I've started doing down here. I also need to do it in there, so I'm just dotting around a little bit as things will let me. It's what, about 8:45 now. I am thinking at this point that what I'm going to do is pack up. As I mentioned earlier, unfortunately, sorry. I kind of don't want to finish early, but I've got a headache. And bending over isn't helping. Let's see. I'll try doing a bit more, just for a few minutes. I kind of don't like finishing early if I can avoid it, but So this is all just rough carving really. Well, that is particularly rough carving, but it is just digging out sort of large areas just to get to the rough shapes that I'm after, and then we'll go into more detail after that. So the chisels do shift more wood than that rotary carver does, and leaves it in bigger pieces as well, which makes it a bit easier to tidy up, but it takes more effort to do. The rotary carver is kind of like almost painting. Or you've got a pen and you're just dabbing it on and the wood just disappears. Yeah, you just have it on. Because it runs at high speed as well, it doesn't wander. Potentially, if you tried this sort of thing with a Dremel, which is running a lot slower, then it would have a tendency to wander, and it would be quite harder, or a lot harder, to keep a straight edge or a smooth edge, or it going basically where you want it to go. And the faster you can spin the bit, then the more likely it is to go where you want it to go. So one of the other tools I do have is an air-powered turbine, which this spins, I think this is spinning this around about 150,000 RPM. A Dremel runs at about 38,000, and the dental turbine runs at about 250,000 RPM. The only thing with the dental turbine is you need an air compressor that will stand that sort of load, because the dental drills use a prodigious amount of air. And so the small compressors just won't keep up, and ultimately you overheat them and will seize them up. If you're buying a compressor for rotary air tools, one of the things you have to bear in mind is something called duty cycle. How long in an hour, or how long is it allowed to run for before you have to let it cool down? And for how long do you have to let it cool down? You cannot run most compressors continuously. They overheat and seize. A lot of compressors have what they call a 3-to-1 cycle. So you run it for 1 minute and then you leave it 3 minutes to cool before you run it again. And you have to take that into consideration, that if you want to, if you basically want to use the air tools continuously, then you have to both store enough air to tide you over the 3 minutes, say when the compressor isn't running, as well as size the compressor itself, so in the 1 minute it is running, it fills the tank. Which basically means it's got to be able to pump 4 times the amount of air that you want. And not all compressors will run for, you run them for 1 minute. Sometimes they'll, you can run them for 5 minutes, but then you still let 20 minutes go by to cool type of thing. So you have to be really careful when you're buying compressors. And that was just to put a little bit of a channel or stop cut there, just so that I can take this chisel and I'm not in as much danger of slicing the top off the frame here than I would be if I didn't do it. Okay, Wolfie. Have a good evening. I'm going to stop in a couple of minutes. Yeah, I'm definitely going to stop. In fact, I'm definitely going to stop. I'm going to stop now. Yeah. You are probably not following me. Oh, it's because I'm not following you, I think. One or the other. Are you following me, Tiba? Oh, I can permit you because I can push that button there. In that case, it's probably because I'm not following you. What I don't know here is it that one? No, not that one. That's a timeout. That's a button. Ah dear, I am not doing very well with this. I cannot see how to actually follow you, because I think that's what it is. Yeah. You get all these icons, but you need to know what they are. And when you press them, as you've just noticed perhaps, I've banned you, I've unbanned you, I've done all sorts of things. Timeout, ban timeout, permit, purge timeout. Right, so maybe what I have to do is go there, like that, and then do that. Nah. No, I wasn't trying to ban him. It was trying not to ban him. But I'm using a touch screen with a finger, so I eventually got the pen out. But unless you're actually using sort of the pointer, you can't use touch because it won't tell you what the icons. You've got to hover over them, which you can't with a touch control. Otherwise, what you'll need to do, Tiba, is just drop it in an email. Sorry, in a what I call it, a Twitch message. Oh dear. Unfortunately, I am going to stop. I've got to tidy up now, and oh, my headache. It's starting to make me feel sick, so I'm going to go take some medication as well, which hopefully will stop that. Thank you everybody for being here, watching this evening. We will try and carry on with some more of this tomorrow. I will be doing some power carving. It's a lot easier to power carve things like that there, even though it does create a lot of dust. But what I may not do is I may take if I power carve tomorrow, which is Thursday, I may not do it on Friday. I may do something else completely on Friday because it does throw a lot of dust into the air and it gets everywhere. So I want to give it time to settle down so that I can clean the air basically. And before I do it again, I'm going to have to get the air extractor out, the air filter out, sit it on the desk, so that the dust that gets into the air gets sucked towards that and gets filtered out. I didn't set up for that today. Okay, Wolfie, that's fine. So, for anybody who's watching that doesn't know, I should be on tomorrow night, hopefully from approximately 7 PM UK time. That's GMT at the moment, or as soon after that as I can manage, due to domestic things here like eating meals. And then we'll carry on till about 9 PM, assuming that I don't have a headache or a migraine. And if I do, then I will let you know on Twitch. On Twitter is what I meant to say, where I'm Zeragonart on Twitter. And what I'm going to say is thank you again for watching. Hope I'll see you on the next stream. Bye for now.